Think Mr. Olympia is just another muscle contest? Think again. Behind every pose, there's sweat, strategy, sacrifice, and a story that helped shape bodybuilding into what it is today. The most iconic stage in the sport is more than meets the eye. It's an industry, a culture, a revolution. So grab your pre-workout and join us on a journey through legends, transformations, and legacies that span generations. Because to understand Mr. Olympia is to understand how far the human body and mind can really go. Ready? Take a deep breath. The show's about to begin. It all started in 1965 when Joe Weider, a fitness world visionary, decided to launch an event that would forever change bodybuilding, Mr. Olympia. The idea was simple but groundbreaking. Give athletes who had already won Mr. Universe a shot to keep competing at a high level, now with prize money and professional recognition. Alongside his brother, Joe created not just a contest, but a global platform that would turn bodybuilding into a legitimate sport. What used to be a niche slowly stepped into the spotlight and began gaining international attention. Mr. Olympia's humble beginnings were a far cry from the massive spectacle we see today. Early editions had small audiences, modest prizes, and just a handful of competitors. But the Weider brothers had a vision. They truly believed bodybuilding could be more than just a hobby. Joe used his magazines and publications to promote the sport and reshape the public image of bodybuilders, pushing back against the stereotype that lifting weights was all about vanity or showing off. Besides launching Mr. Olympia, the Weiders laid the foundation of modern bodybuilding. They organized the IFBB, International Federation of Bodybuilding, and introduced clear rules for competition that brought legitimacy and structure to the sport, attracting more athletes and giving them a real path to turn passion into a career. This cultural shift was key to helping bodybuilding earn respect as a serious athletic discipline across the globe. The first Mr. Olympia took place at the Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York City, with Larry Scott taking home the win. His victory wasn't just a title. It was proof that this new event had the potential to become an annual landmark. Scott quickly became a star and a role model for future competitors, helping build momentum for the event even through its tougher early years. In those early days, the biggest challenge was proving to the world that bodybuilding was a legit sport. There was a lot of prejudice, barely any media coverage, and very little financial support. But the Weiders kept investing in content, partnerships, and local contests. Slowly but surely, Mr. Olympia evolved from a small event into the ultimate goal for serious bodybuilders. They also influenced how training and supplementation were introduced to the public, making knowledge more accessible. The Weiders weren't just organizers, they were teachers. Their books, magazines, and training programs shaped the mindset of thousands of lifters worldwide. They spread workout methods, diet plans, and values like discipline and resilience, principles that still define the sport today. They also worked hard to connect bodybuilding with a positive image, framing it as a lifestyle built on health, dedication, and balance. If Mr. Olympia is seen today as the World Cup of bodybuilding, it's all thanks to the vision and drive of the Weider brothers. They saw potential where others only saw muscle. They created a stage where the human body is celebrated like art, built through grit and discipline. And most importantly, they helped pull bodybuilding out of the shadows and turn it into a global movement. If there's one era that forever shaped the image of classic bodybuilding, it's the so-called golden era from the 1960s to the 1980s. That was when symmetry, proportion, and aesthetics became the holy grail. The Mr. Olympia stage became a gallery of sculpted physiques with tight waists, full muscles, and poses that looked like living artwork. Athletes from this time weren't just strong. They were admired as symbols of physical perfection and grace. And no name stands out more in this era than Arnold Schwarzenegger. His story is practically inseparable from Mr. Olympia itself. Winning 7 titles between 1970 and 1980, Arnold wasn't just a competitor. He was a performer. With his natural charisma and dominating physique, he captured the attention of fans, photographers, and filmmakers. His victories helped cement Mr. Olympia as the ultimate bodybuilding showdown, and his personality took the sport beyond the gym, into movie theaters, talk shows, and pop culture around the world. But Arnold didn't shine alone. The golden era was stacked with legendary athletes who pushed the sport to a whole new level. Guys like Franco Columbu, Frank Zane, Lou Ferrigno, and Serge Nubret were key to shaping the classic bodybuilding standard. Each had their own vibe, their own build, and their own presence, showing the world that there wasn't just one way to achieve physical excellence. That variety made every edition of Mr. Olympia more exciting, giving fans plenty of reasons to get emotionally invested. The true game-changer of that era came in 1977 with the release of the documentary Pumping Iron. It took viewers behind the scenes of the 1975 Mr. Olympia prep and introduced a fresh perspective: the athlete as an artist, a warrior, a character. The film didn't just show the effort behind the muscle. It made bodybuilders relatable. The impact was massive. It turned bodybuilding into a global cultural phenomenon, launched Arnold into Hollywood stardom, and drove thousands of young people to sign up for gym memberships around the world. As the sport's popularity exploded, it attracted brands, photographers, publishers, and sponsors. Magazines like Muscle and Fitness started flying off the shelves, influencing both pros and weekend warriors. Posters of champions hung on bedroom walls, gym mirrors, and supplement shop windows. The image of the bodybuilder shifted, no longer seen as a fringe obsession, but as a symbol of discipline, hustle, and achievement. With this new image, bodybuilding gained more traction in mainstream media and earned a deeper level of respect. But it wasn't just about looks. Golden era athletes embraced a different mindset when it came to training. There was a strong sense of brotherhood, especially in iconic spots like Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, where group workouts were the norm. This environment created friendly rivalries and productive partnerships, all driven by the shared goal of elevating the sport. Bodybuilding was practiced with passion and purpose, like an art form that required patience, mental focus, and deep connection with the body. To this day, the aesthetics of the golden era are still considered the gold standard by many bodybuilding fans. Even with the rise of bulk-focused divisions like open bodybuilding, the ideals of symmetry and balance from that period continue to inspire lifters and competitors around the globe. The 1980s marked a turning point in the sport. After Arnold's unexpected comeback and controversial win in 1980, the direction of bodybuilding began to shift. The focus moved away from the classic aesthetic of the golden era and toward a relentless pursuit of size, density, and shock factor. Competition started rewarding freakier physiques, and this gave birth to what would later be known as the mass monster era, a time when extreme hypertrophy took center stage and redefined what it meant to be a champion. The first big name in this new wave was Lee Haney, who racked up 8 straight titles from 1984 to 1991. Haney still had solid aesthetics, but his size was noticeably bigger than his predecessors. He became the bridge between the classic and modern eras, blending mass with proportion. His famous motto, "Stimulate, don't annihilate," reflected a mindful approach to training, but his ever-thickening physique made it clear the size game was just beginning, and the world was watching with fascination. Then came Dorian Yates in 1992, and everything changed. Nicknamed the Shadow, he stunned audiences with his thick, grainy muscle and next-level conditioning. With 6 straight wins, Yates built the blueprint for the new bodybuilding ideal. His scientific approach to training, use of advanced techniques, and quiet intensity made him a near-mythic figure. He ushered in a new mindset. The more mass you carried, the more respect you earned, even if the classic look had to take a back seat. Yates's rise also aligned with major advances in sports nutrition, supplementation, and, most notably, performance-enhancing substances. The use of growth hormone and insulin became more common, and physiques on stage reached sizes never seen before. The gap between traditional bodybuilding and the mass monster era became impossible to ignore. Fans were split. Some loved the new, freaky giants, while others longed for the elegance and aesthetics of the golden era. Then came Ronnie Coleman. In 1998, he shocked the world by beating the favorites and kicking off a reign that redefined human limits. Ronnie was a freak of nature, ridiculously massive, with a surprisingly tight waist, insane definition, and mind-blowing strength. With 8 straight Olympia wins, he matched Haney's record and pushed the mass monster era to its peak. His performances were jaw-dropping, his poses unforgettable, and his workouts, featuring insane lifts like 800-pound squats and deadlifts, became the stuff of gym legend. Ronnie Coleman's impact went way beyond the stage. He became the symbol of a generation that pushed everything to the limit. No shortcuts, no compromises. His hardcore training philosophy, that massive charisma, and his iconic, "Yeah, buddy," catchphrase blew up worldwide. But at the same time, his story sparked serious debates about health and longevity in elite bodybuilding. After years of lifting insane weights, Ronnie underwent multiple surgeries and lost much of his mobility. His glory came at a high cost, and that bittersweet reality marked the heart of the mass monster era. That chapter in bodybuilding left behind a legacy of extremes, jaw-dropping physiques, record-breaking achievements, and an aesthetic that sparked debate. It was a time of innovation, but also of excess. And it raises a big question: should bodybuilding keep heading down this road? Or is it time to find a balance between size and aesthetics? What do you think? Did the mass monsters take the sport to the next level, or did they push the human body too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The early 2000s brought one of the greatest rivalries the sport has ever seen: Ronnie Coleman versus Jay Cutler. Ronnie had been dominating the Olympia stage for years, but Jay kept closing in, placing second 4 years in a row before finally dethroning him in 2006. Cutler's win wasn't just an athletic milestone. It marked the start of a new chapter. He still brought size, but with cleaner lines and a more strategic presence on stage. His persistence turned him into a fan favorite and a modern icon. Jay Cutler's reign was short but intense. He took home 4 Olympia titles in total, losing the crown in 2008 to Dexter Jackson, whose leaner, ultra-conditioned look caught everyone's attention. But Jay wasn't done. He came back strong in 2009 to reclaim the title, proving he still had it. That back and forth at the top brought fresh energy to the Olympia, making the competition feel more unpredictable and exciting. The stage was evolving, and fans beyond the hardcore bodybuilding circle started paying attention. Then came 2011, and with it, the rise of Phil Heath. Combining size, symmetry, and razor-sharp conditioning, Phil won 7 consecutive titles and ruled the Olympia until 2017. His physique was like a hybrid, not as monstrous as Ronnie, but fuller than the Golden Era guys. But what really fired up the stage during his reign was his heated rivalry with Kai Green. Between 2012 and 2014, their battles weren't just close on the scorecards. They were emotionally intense and unforgettable. Kai Green, known for his artistic posing and unique charisma, became a fan favorite despite never taking the title. He was the anti-Heath, the underdog with a rough past, a unique style, and a whole lot of heart. The tension between him and Phil created electric moments, from dramatic stare-downs to the legendary face-off in 2014. Their rivalry pulled in a new wave of fans and helped turn Mr. Olympia into a true sports spectacle with storylines as strong as the physiques. As physiques on stage became more diverse, the IFBB saw the need to expand its categories. That's when divisions like Men's Physique 2013 and Classic Physique 2016 were introduced. While open bodybuilding continued to chase extreme size, these new divisions focused on different ideals: proportion, classic lines, small waists, and stage presence. Athletes like Jeremy Buendia and Chris Bumstead rose to stardom in these divisions, bringing fresh energy and drawing in new audiences. This expansion gave more athletes with different body types a shot at the spotlight, and it made the sport more relatable to the average person. Bodybuilding stopped being seen as something unrealistic and started inspiring more people to hit the gym and even step on stage. Social media played a huge role too. Athletes began building their legacies not just on stage, but on Instagram, YouTube, and in behind-the-scenes documentaries that showed the human side of the grind. From 2000 to 2020, Mr. Olympia went through a major period of transition and reinvention. We watched legends retire, new stars rise, and the sport open up to fresh aesthetics and different forms of self-expression. It was a time of epic rivalries, controversial moments, and game-changing evolution, shaping modern bodybuilding into what it is today. Mr. Olympia has evolved from a simple bodybuilding contest into a full-blown global spectacle. Over the years, it transformed into what we now know as the Olympia Fitness and Performance Weekend, an international festival that brings together not just athletes, but brands, influencers, business leaders, and fans from all over the world. The production has leveled up big time, with world-class staging, lighting, live broadcasts, and a setup that feels more like a massive concert than a sports event. Today, the Olympia features 11 official divisions, representing a wide range of body types, styles, and athletic goals. In addition to the classic open bodybuilding, there's classic physique, men's physique, 212, wellness, bikini, figure, fitness, women's physique, Ms. Olympia, and wheelchair. Each one has its own standards, compelling stories, and loyal fan base. This diversity doesn't just make the competition more inclusive, it makes the entire event more exciting for everyone, from hardcore bodybuilders to everyday gym goers chasing a more attainable aesthetic. The prize money has grown with the event too. In 2024, over $1.57 million was awarded across all divisions, with the Open champion alone taking home $400,000. And that's not even counting the brand deals, sponsorships, and business opportunities that come with being on the Olympia stage. For many athletes, winning isn't just about personal glory. It's a launch pad to turn their physique into a career, a brand, a lasting legacy. Olympia became the ultimate platform for success. Chris Bumstead is the perfect example of this new era. With 6 straight classic physique titles before retiring in 2024, he captivated fans with his throwback physique, easygoing charm, and massive online presence. His behind-the-scenes videos, interviews, and social content go viral regularly, making him one of the most influential figures in bodybuilding. Even though he never competed in the open division, Bum proved that today, being a champion means more than just winning. It's about inspiring, connecting, and leading a global community. Another huge factor behind Olympia's rise was the internet and social media boom. Live streams, YouTube clips, and Instagram stories brought fans closer than ever to the action. People from all over the planet now follow every pose, every award, every post-show interview. The connection between athletes and fans feels more real, more personal. Olympia has become something like a high-stakes fitness reality show, and the world's watching. Big-name brands know the value too. Supplement companies, activewear labels, gym gear makers, and even clinical nutrition giants fight for booth space at the Olympia Expo, a massive trade show that runs alongside the contest. That's where deals are made, new products are launched, and industry trends are set. Olympia isn't just about muscle anymore. It's about innovation, business, and networking. It's where the fitness world shows its face and sets the tone for the next wave of performance culture. In this new era, Mr. Olympia is more than a contest. It's a full-on experience, a blend of sport, entertainment, media, and business. And even with all the changes, the heart of it remains the same, honoring physical excellence, extreme dedication, and a deep love for the craft of bodybuilding. Over the decades, the Olympia stage has been where true legends are born. These champions didn't just win. They shaped eras, styles, and philosophies. Larry Scott, the first ever Mr. Olympia, proved you could turn lifting into a profession. Sergio Oliva, the myth, took volume and aesthetics to new levels with his unforgettable V-taper. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, the most iconic of them all, brought bodybuilding into pop culture and made it global. These names aren't just champions, they're chapters in the sport's history. And when it comes to the women's side of the sport, no legacy stands out more than Iris Kyle's. With an unmatched 10 Ms. Olympia titles, she's the most decorated athlete in Olympia history. Iris showed that elite physical and technical mastery wasn't limited to men. Her strength, consistency, and drive paved the way for more women to take bodybuilding seriously, breaking stereotypes and setting new standards. Andrea Shaw, today's dominant Ms. Olympia, continues that legacy with grace and power. These champions didn't just leave trophies behind, they left impact. They changed how the world views the sport, inspired generations of athletes, and are still studied in gyms, articles, and videos worldwide. Their stories hit home because they go deeper than muscle. They're about sacrifice, focus, resilience, and passion. Each one of them stepped onto that Olympia stage not just to win, but to leave a mark that would last forever. For a long time, bodybuilding was seen as a mostly American phenomenon, and with good reason. The early Mr. Olympia contests were all held in the U.S. The first champions were American, and the main bodybuilding federations were all based there. But as the sport grew, Olympia began to reflect the world's diversity. Athletes from different countries started making waves, climbing the ranks, and even dominating entire divisions. Today, Mr. Olympia is truly global, on stage and in the stands. Olympia's international wave picked up speed in the 90s and 2000s, but it started even earlier, with Samir Banout from Lebanon winning the title in 1983 and Dorian Yates from the UK taking 6 straight wins after that. While Ronnie Coleman and Phil Heath kept the U.S. on top for a while, it was clear the stage was opening up. Countries like Egypt, Canada, Brazil, and Iran began producing world-class athletes, bringing new styles, training philosophies, and cultural perspectives to the mix. A major milestone came when Big Ramy from Egypt won the Mr. Olympia title in 2020 and 2021. His victory was celebrated across the Arab world and proved that bodybuilding's highest prize no longer belonged to one nation. Ramy didn't just bring an insane physique. He carried the hopes of thousands of athletes from the Middle East dreaming of the same spotlight. His journey showed that with talent, discipline, and the right opportunity, anyone, no matter where they're from, can rise to the top. Chris Bumstead from Canada is another perfect example of Olympia's global reach. With 6 classic physique titles to his name, he's become one of the most recognized faces in fitness worldwide, followed by millions across multiple continents. His throwback physique, calm charisma, and relatable content made him a global inspiration, turning Mr. Olympia into a yearly tradition for fans around the world, the same way people tune in for the finals of major global sporting events. This international growth also supercharged the Olympia's global audience. With live streams and social media, fans from every corner of the planet can watch the action in real time. International athletes bring passionate fan bases, helping expand Olympia's reach in places where bodybuilding was once barely followed. That buzz draws in new brands, fresh investments, and strengthens the Olympia as a top-tier global entertainment product. Today, the show is watched and celebrated in dozens of languages. This cultural exchange has also changed how athletes prepare. With so many different backgrounds colliding, there's been a major boost in the sharing of training methods, diets, and supplementation strategies. Brazil, for example, is now a powerhouse in divisions like wellness and bikini. Iran continues to rise in the 212 and open classes. And countries like Germany, South Korea, and India are starting to produce breakout stars. Olympia's stage now reflects a truly globalized sport, with flags from every continent proudly represented. One of the most important changes in Mr. Olympia over the decades has been the expansion of its competitive structure. Originally focused solely on the open bodybuilding division, the no-weight limit category with the most complete mix of mass, definition, symmetry, and proportion wins. The event now includes multiple divisions, each with its own rules and unique look. This shift not only made the competition more accessible, but also attracted new audiences and gave athletes of different builds a shot at the spotlight. The open division is still the crown jewel, the one that names the official Mr. Olympia. This is where the giants of the sport battle out with no size restrictions, prioritizing extreme mass combined with aesthetics. Then there's the 212 bodybuilding division, created for shorter, lighter athletes, with a weight cap of 212 pounds, about 96 kilograms. This gives a platform to those who may not be competitive in the open, but still bring incredible density, proportion, and conditioning. Athletes like Flex Lewis left a lasting legacy in this category. Another division that exploded in popularity is Classic Physique. Introduced in 2016, it aims to revive the aesthetics of the 70s and 80s with classic poses, tight waists, and flowing lines. The max weight is adjusted based on the athlete's height, putting proportion front and center. This category quickly became a fan favorite by blending muscle with elegance, and stars like Chris Bumstead took it to new heights. It's where the vintage charm of old-school bodybuilding meets the lights and energy of the modern stage. Men's physique, on the other hand, is known for its more approachable, mainstream-friendly look. Athletes wear board shorts, don't strike traditional bodybuilding poses, and are judged mainly on their V-taper, upper body definition, and overall stage presence. It's a division that speaks to the average gym goer, people who see that physique as something realistic and aspirational. Then there's wellness, designed specifically for women, which became an official Olympia category in recent years. It emphasizes well-developed glutes and legs with a softer upper body, a look that celebrates feminine strength with balance. The women's divisions are just as diverse. Bikini is all about grace, stage presence, and a softer aesthetic. Figure demands more muscle density and definition. Fitness takes it a step further, requiring choreographed routines with acrobatics and strength moves. Women's physique brings back classic posing with modern muscle. And Ms. Olympia is the female equivalent of the Open, showcasing extreme muscularity and conditioning. This range of divisions has made the Olympia even more complete and inclusive, giving every style of female bodybuilding a stage of its own. To qualify for Olympia, athletes go through one of two main routes, either by winning a designated IFBB Pro League qualifying event or by earning enough points over the competition season. Each division has its own ranking system, and the top-scoring athletes, or winners of key contests, punch their ticket to the big stage. Former Olympia champs, however, get lifetime qualification. That rule keeps the door open for epic comebacks, making the event more unpredictable and exciting year after year. With this multifaceted structure, Mr. Olympia doesn't just crown the world's best physiques. It celebrates the diversity of styles, body types, and training philosophies. More than just a bodybuilding contest, Mr. Olympia has become a global cultural and commercial phenomenon. Over the years, it helped turn the sport into a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry, connecting athletes, brands, gyms, influencers, and consumers. The Olympia stage is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind it lies a whole ecosystem powered by products, services, and ideas built around performance, discipline, and the fitness lifestyle. A major force behind this shift was the explosion of social media and streaming platforms. Athletes aren't just visible on stage anymore. They live on your phone. They share workouts, meals, prep routines, and even personal moments. This constant access has created emotional connections with fans, turning champions into full-blown influencers. The global audience grew, and Olympia became year-round entertainment. Not just a weekend event, but a constant presence in the fitness world. Brands and supplements, apparel, gear, and services quickly realized Olympia was the perfect launchpad for products and trends. Athletes with strong online presence score huge endorsement deals and become ambassadors of entire lifestyles. Clean eating, intense training, structured routines, and laser focus. What used to be considered niche, the shredded, muscular physique, is now seen as a symbol of health, self-care, and even social status. Having a lean, defined body has become a global aspiration. Olympia has also shaped how we think about aesthetics and performance. The poses, the physiques, the workouts, they all go viral and influence how everyday gym-goers train, eat, and consume. The event isn't just watched, it's imitated. Bodybuilding stopped feeling like a distant, hyper-technical thing and became a cultural blueprint. Today, the athlete lifestyle is everywhere. In motivational videos, reality shows, online challenges, and even in our everyday language. Who hasn't heard, "Go heavy" or "Go home"? Looking ahead, it's impossible not to ask, how far can the human body go? With constant advances in nutrition, supplements, pharmacology, biomechanics, and marketing, Mr. Olympia keeps evolving, becoming more technical, more professional, and more competitive. But that also brings big questions. How do we protect athlete health and longevity? Where's the ethical line when it comes to enhancement? Will the future be all about the sheer size of open bodybuilding, or the refined balance of classic physique? The rise of classic physique seems to point toward a revival of the golden era, where harmony, charisma, and aesthetic presentation take the spotlight. It might be a sign that the sport is finding a middle ground between performance and longevity, between extreme and admirable. Meanwhile, open bodybuilding is still looking to reinvent itself. After decades dominated by mass monsters, there's growing anticipation for new icons. Athletes who bring not just size, but fresh proportions, innovative lines, and stories that inspire a global audience. One thing's for sure, Olympia will always be the stage for human evolution. Every year, new talents emerge, new narratives unfold, and the dream of stepping on that stage gets reignited in thousands of gyms around the world. It's not just about competing, it's about inspiring, pushing limits, and leaving a legacy. Whether you're an athlete in prep, a fan of the sport, or someone just getting started, Mr. Olympia stands for something greater. A celebration of discipline, transformation, and the never-ending quest for greatness. Now I want to hear from you. Which athlete has inspired you the most? Do you follow the open, or are you more into the classic physique vibe? Do you think the future of bodybuilding lies in balance or in boldness? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's build this community together. And while you're at it, tell us where you're watching from. This channel keeps growing thanks to each of you tuning in from all over the world. If this video brought you some value, hit that like button. It really helps support our work and helps more people discover these amazing bodybuilding stories. Make sure to subscribe, turn on the bell, and if you want to go even further, consider becoming a channel member. And of course, if you love diving deep into this world, there's another special video waiting for you right up here in card. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.